Page 36, rocking chair. There's some stuff on page 37. I'll talk about that in the next video. But right now I'm just focusing on this page. I'm going to go through my process to learn a new piece of music. There's nothing new, just stuff we've already had. But you'll find that now the music is getting more involved and the hands are playing together more and doing more stuff together. So we got to deal with that. So let's look it over. I see it's 4 lines long, but there's a D, C, Al fine there, so actually it's 6 lines long. And in looking it over, if I didn't notice the D, C, Al fine, it's no big deal. I say, okay, it's 1 page. I could say that too. I just want an overall idea of how long it is. Treble and bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major. Later on, we'll get to the point why that's important, but I'm going to keep saying it because I want to get into the habit of just going through this routine. And the 4/4 time signature. Let's take it one hand at a time because both hands are busy. The right hand starts with 3rd finger here, and so that puts you here. You're not moving around any to speak of, so this is really about the only finger number you need. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You get the idea? Hopefully you can play that okay. Look at the second line and the last measure, the C. Those C's are tied. You see that little curved line? That means you play the first C and hold it down for both. Now, why didn't they just use a whole note? I'll explain that a little bit later. Right now it's just 2 half notes tied together, so it sounds like a whole note. 4 beats. And then 3rd line, it's D, G. And here I'm just rotating the hand here. I'm just passing weight from one finger to the other. I'm staying relaxed. Here, and at the end of the 3rd line, you have a C up here, this C. What I want to do is I want to leave the hand here, and I'm just going to stretch out here to this. Remember the octave, this distance from letter to letter? I told you this is important. You need to develop a feel for that. That's what this is. You're staying here, you're just reaching up for that C. And then after you play it, they want you to come here. That's a stretch. Now you can lift up and come down, but when I first learn a piece of music, I want to play it all connected. That's just a style of learning I learned in college because it forces me to find a fingering that works connected, and that's usually a solid fingering that works. There's exceptions. Don't bother me with exceptions. So here I want to change things just a little bit. A little more advanced fingering, but you've got to learn it eventually, so why not? After the C in the 3rd line here, and I need to play the D in the last line here, rather than this thing, I'm going to use thumb. And then I'm going to collapse and use little finger. I just use thumb to help me get down there more easily. So it's here to here, and then thumb. And then I put the thumb down here and use 2nd finger on the next D. So it's 1, 5, and then a 2, 5. That's my suggestion. So we did move around just a hair, just temporarily for that one note and then come down. If there had been a rest or something after the C and I could come down, then I could just lift up and move. But because there's no rest, I want to connect them now. I'll separate them later, but now I want to connect. Left hand. The left hand's got a bunch of quarter notes. Thumb here. And left hand's not moving around too much, so we'll just do here. And again, I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger here. I'm walking on the piano. This is about all this does. Now you get to the end of the 2nd line. Here, again, the left hand's that low C down here. So I'm just going to reach out. I'm going to leave my thumb here, reach out and play it. And you'll notice in the 3rd line, now I have a B. It's the same thing we did in the right hand. So I want to teach you another fingering technique we use that's a little more advanced. But if they're going to put music like this in here, then we're going to have to use it. It's not my fault. They did it. So it's easier. You can get away with this. Now I'm talking about going from the 2nd line to the 3rd line in the left hand. From here to here. You can get away with lifting up and coming up. But But as I said, when I first learn a piece of music, I want to connect everything if I can. So I adjust the fingering so I can. So here on the B, I'm going to use the thumb because I can reach it. The problem with that is now I'm out of position for the C, the next note up here. I don't want to use the thumb for both. So I'm going to do a technique called a finger substitution. This is a little more advanced technique, but it's pretty simple, so let's just do it. Comes in handy. I'll play a note with one finger here, and while I'm holding the finger down, I put another finger on it. I substituted a finger for another. Now the thumb is available for the next note. So to start at the end of the second line, I'm here, and then go to the third line, I'm here, and then I do that. Do it immediately. You don't have to do it real quick. Just in the habit, do it immediately. And then you can go on. And again, next measure, again, I'm going to do the 1 for the B, and substitute again. And then you can stay there, and then the last line, going from the second measure to the third measure, same thing. Thumb, 2, and then a 1. So I'm finger substituting on that, and it happens like, what, 3 times or so. So now we attempt to put the hands together, and at first when I put the hands together, I hesitate all over. I don't care. I just want to know which fingers are going down at the same time. So at the beginning, we're starting in middle C position, of course, and then these fingers down. And then I hold that down, and again, and then here, these are down, and then these, and then these. So that's all I'm doing is just trying to work the hands together. Let's go to the second line, the last measure. You're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where they put in you got 2 half notes tied together, and what they've done is they made it easier for you because they have a half note in the left hand and they're lining them up so you can see them better. Most people in this case would have used a whole note in the upper staff because it is, and then the lower staff would be like it's printed. The point is you got 1, 2, 3, 4 is the way it works. They've used 2 half notes, and that's fine. They can do that. That line after the word where in that measure, that tells you if you're singing it, you go ahead and hold it out. Sing it for both notes. Then I'm in the second line here, and then the third line, I'm going to use thumb, and I'm substituting. I do it even before I play the next note. Again. Hold that down. It's a whole note. See, they used a whole note here rather than 2 half notes tied together like they do. Okay, that's fine. And then going on, I'm thumb in thumb in the right hand, little finger. So I didn't have to substitute in the left hand here because I just played a C. I'm here already, so I'm fine. But it's here. And then again. So this is a little tricky piece. Now, once I have an idea what each hand is doing and I try and put them together and clean up the mess, then I go back through it a few hundred times and I get rid of any hesitations. If there's spots in it where it's tricky, I work on those spots, concentrate on them, and get rid of the hesitations so it's a steady beat. I can keep it slow, doesn't matter, but no hesitations, a steady beat throughout. I can speed it up later. Then, if I'm not tired of the piece yet, I'll think about the interpretation. We'll start with the natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Here. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Each time I get 2 quarter notes, the first one's a little louder than the second. Now, I exaggerated them so you can hear them better, but really what you want to do is you want to feel this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Feel the natural accents. Then we can think about the phrasing And in this piece, it looks like the first two lines, each line is a phrase. So I'm going to connect it. So at the end of the first line, I'm here, lift up, and connect. Then at the second line, same thing, lift up. So this is where you, lifting up for the phrasing, you do have time to move if you want to. But again, when I first learn it, I don't lift up, I want to connect it. So that's the fingering I'm going to use. So in the second line, I'm here, I'm going to lift up. And then going on, see, I'm kind of taking all of this as one long phrase. I don't have to. I could take it like in two measure phrases where each hum, or whatever that is. I don't know what we're doing with an um. Maybe that's the for the rocking chair and then another for going back, You could take it in two measure phrases. Lift up, lift up. Or take it in four measure phrases. Or connect both lines together, the whole thing. There's different ways of interpreting it, and you'll have to decide, or your teacher will decide for you, how you would like to try. Try it all the ways, and it's, you experiment, try these things. What do you like? Maybe one time you play it one way, another time you try another. I think for this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and take this in two measure phrases for the last two lines. So I'm going to lift up, lift up. Every two measures I'm going to lift up. And of course at the end, you see the D, C, All, Fi, you got to go back to the beginning. I'm going to lift up there, like taking a breath. Now on top of all that mess, I want to think about bringing out the melody. I want to hear the melody. It's what it's about. In this case, it's the right hand. I'm going to play the melody where I want it. I don't have to play it loud. It's just where I want it. And the left hand is really light, very soft. It's up to you. Now you don't have to take it that fast. You take it at your speed, but it has to be, no hesitation thing. Don't copy me, please. You get into the music and you feel it and you play it as you see fit. At the end of the second line where the fine is, you can draw in a thick bar line. Just widen the second bar line. That should be a thin and thick bar line there, not two thin ones. The double bar line at the bottom, that's fine. That's okay, but the other one, no. And of course, I've implied what you do, where you go because of the D, C, All, Fi. You play all four lines, and then you go back to the beginning and you play the first two lines again. Because the DC means go to the beginning, and Fi, All, Fi means go to Fi, and that's at the end of the second line. Let's play it together very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I'm not going to bring out the melody here. I'm going to play both hands about the same, but I am going to lift up for the phrasing. And we will do the D, C, All, Fi. We'll do it 6 lines long. I'll give us 4 counts. A lot of numbers in that. 1, 2, ready, go. Two, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 to the beginning. Two, three,